Hey guys, DJ Jack here with another video. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down part 1 of the Teddy Roosevelt documentary, and I'm going to try to get the facts perfect this time. And now let's begin. Starting in his childhood, he was diagnosed with asthma at a very young age, and his father wasn't sure if he was going to live to adulthood, but that ended up not being the case. He ended up living to adulthood, and as we know, he became one of our presidents. And later on, after he got older, when he went to Harvard, he was a really good wrestler. I mean, had not a very good eyesight, Teddy Roosevelt, but he was very smart, very tough, very strong man, very, very, very good. He was on the boxing team at Harvard. He was also a wrestler as well. A lot of interesting stuff. His father died. Teddy Roosevelt Sr. passed away when he was 19 at Harvard, and he noticed he had to go home. And then later on, after that, his mother passed away when he was like, I believe it was when he was in the commission of police or something, or it might have been when he was in the assembly at the store. He got out of Harvard. When he graduated from Harvard, he wanted to be in the Republican government and stuff, and he took a job as assembly of the 21st Assembly District of New York City. Very, very interesting, and it was a very young age as a very young politician, only in his 20s, which is very fascinating. Then, during that time he was serving around there, he found out he needed to, his mother was dying, and he had to go home and take a long train ride all the way leaving Albany back to New York City. And apparently, when he was there, when he rushed home, when he got home, it was on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1884, that he was by his mother's side right away. And then all of a sudden, when she passed away, and then a couple hours later in the same house, his first wife passed away, and the baby still lived, but she basically died on her pregnancy, his first wife. And apparently that was 1884, February 14th. Both passed away on the same night in the same house, which is very, 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 very interesting history. And then, so Roosevelt had some rough deaths in his life, but he didn't let that stop him from becoming one of the greatest known presidents, and very celebrity too. But before we get there, we're gonna go over to another one. After both his mother and his first wife passed away, his sister took the baby that his first wife had, and said, how about you leave New York for a little bit and go up and start a new life up west. And that's exactly what he did. And when he got to the Dakota Park, is where he ended up settling and stuff, up in one of the Dakota states. And apparently that's where his exploring started. Right around that time in 1893 or something like that, is when he first started in hunting, got into his hunting and got into his things. He met up with some Native Americans. It's unknown how close, or what his thoughts were about Native Americans, but very fascinating stuff. And then after that, he moved back to New York. The war was starting, and he had to get ready to go in the war with the Rough Riders. That's where he became a war hero. And then he ran for governor of New York City. And then after that is when they noticed that he needed that McKinley's first vice president passed away, and he had to run for vice presidency under William McKinley, and for his second term. And then McKinley passed away, and that's how he took over his office, like in the presidency. And now we made it past the war. Now the next episode is about to come on. I'm gonna stop and watch that in a second, but I also wanted to bring up that if none of you may not have known, but if you haven't heard of Booker T. Washington, first African American to be invited to a White House dinner with the president, and Teddy Roosevelt was the very first one to do that, to invite an African American to the White House for dinner. And a lot of people were against it, but a lot of people supported it too, and he never regretted it and never said, "Don't forget, I don't want to say no." And he did. He basically invited him and had a dinner, and Teddy Roosevelt was talking a lot, overly talked, and it was a very interesting, and every president before him never invited an African American to dinner. Roosevelt was the first one to set that in place for the presidency, and then every president after him followed that and invited an African American for dinner to the White House. Very fascinating. That's how far as I got so far, but we got more to come in part 2, so I'll let you know more facts as we get closer. I'm DJ Jack. I'll see you real soon.